It was a city like any other, full of noise, full of life. People rushed to work, met friends for coffee, and lived in towering apartment blocks. Each apartment was a private world behind a locked door. On the 6th floor, apartment 6B was just another door, until it wasn't. For years, no one noticed anything unusual. The rent was paid automatically, mail piled up, and neighbors heard nothing. They assumed the resident was simply quiet. But this silence was not peace. It was the sound of a secret. For nearly a decade, someone had vanished, but their home remained untouched. Electricity still hummed, water waited in the pipes, but life had ended. The city outside buzzed with stories, but apartment 6B's story had stopped. The building was old, built with forgotten spaces and quirks. Not grand secret passages, but awkward gaps, left over from old ventilation or dumbwaiters. These hidden voids were perfect for something to be lost, or hidden. The building's own history became an accomplice. Years passed, tenants came and went, but apartment 6B stayed frozen in time. Dust gathered, rent payments continued, and the story waited for someone to notice. The truth was closer than anyone imagined, locked away by plaster and brick. No one questioned the silence, until a small event set everything in motion. The city moved on, but apartment 6B waited, holding its secret. The world outside changed, but inside, nothing did. The apartment was a time capsule, undisturbed. The silence grew heavier with each year. The secret waited for discovery. All it needed was someone to ask the right question. The story was about to be told. The silence was about to break. The discovery began not with a scream, but with a leak. Water from a burst pipe in 7B seeped down, forcing maintenance into apartment 6B. The air was stale, everything coated in dust. A newspaper from 2016 sat untouched. As workers cut into the damp wall, their tools hit a hollow space. It wasn't plumbing or wiring, it was a void. Peering inside, they found a dark shaft, an old service chase. At the bottom, tangled in debris, was a shape, wrapped in blanket and plastic. The workers called their supervisor, voices tense. Police arrived, the apartment's neglect replaced by scrutiny. Forensics widened the opening and carefully removed the object. It was the body of Mr. Julian Croft, the long-missing tenant. The cool, dry shaft had preserved him, hiding the truth for years. His wallet and keys were on him, no sign of break-in. Automatic rent payments had masked his absence until the funds ran out. It seemed as if he'd vanished into the wall. But investigators knew better. Someone had put him there. The apartment's secret was finally out. The hunt for a killer began, nearly a decade late. The silence had been shattered. The building's hidden void had given up its secret. The mystery was no longer invisible. To understand the hidden crime, you have to look at the building itself. Built in the 1950s, it had features now obsolete, like service shafts. These vertical tunnels once held plumbing and dumbwaiters. Over time, they were sealed off, creating secret, inaccessible spaces. Residents never knew they existed. These voids were perfect hiding places, dark, unventilated, cut off. They didn't appear on modern plans. This is how Mr. Croft's body could remain undiscovered. The killer didn't need a remote grave, just a few inches of plaster. Old codes created the space and the silence. Once sealed, the shafts contained everything, including evidence. No smell escaped, no sound alerted neighbors. The building's outdated design became the killer's tool. It provided location, concealment, and silence. The structure itself swallowed the crime. The perfect hiding place was built into the walls. Every city has a hidden blueprint, forgotten spaces inside old buildings. Renovations layer over history, leaving awkward, inaccessible gaps. In Mr. Croft's building, the service shaft was just one of many quirks. Old plans showed a network of chases for plumbing and dumbwaiters. When dumbwaiters were removed, access doors were plastered over. Residents saw only smooth walls, never suspecting the voids behind. The killer exploited this hidden space. Only someone familiar with the building would know about it. Police suspected a former resident or maintenance worker. The building's structure provided the means and opportunity. The crime was hidden in the city's forgotten blueprint. Investigators pieced together Julian Croft's last moments. A private man, working from home, his digital life ended abruptly in October 2016. The murder happened around that date. Forensic evidence pointed to David Chen, a former neighbor who owed Julian money. Police theorized Chen visited to discuss the debt. An argument turned violent. Chen panicked. He couldn't leave with a body. His knowledge of the building came into play. Friendly with maintenance, he knew about the old shafts and the access panel in the bathroom closet. In the dead of night, he forced the panel open. He wrapped Julian's body in a blanket and plastic, pushed it into the shaft. The panel was resealed, the apartment cleaned. Chen locked the door, leaving everything undisturbed. He gambled on the building's silence and Julian's isolation. For almost a decade, the secret held. No one noticed Julian was gone. The building kept its secret. The silence was unbroken, until a leak changed everything. The truth was finally set free. How can someone vanish for 10 years unnoticed? Julian Croft was the perfect victim. Quiet, working from home, few friends. Neighbors assumed he was private or had moved away. Automatic payments kept his apartment and utilities running. The system was impersonal. As long as money flowed, no one checked. His family, overseas, assumed he was busy. Only when the money ran out did anyone act. The failed rent payment triggered the first real-world response. Maintenance entered, and the secret was revealed. Technology had hidden his death for years. The illusion finally broke. The old building hid the crime, but modern technology solved it. Police dug through years of digital records, access logs, financial data. The key fob system logged every entry and exit. On the night Julian vanished, his fob entered. Hours later, Chen's fob exited. Chen claimed he was never there, but the log said otherwise. The digital record was an impartial witness. Financial records showed Chen's motive: unpaid debt, sudden cash deposits. The evidence was clear. Chen had motive and opportunity. Digital breadcrumbs formed a path to the killer. The past was exposed by the present. Technology remembered what people forgot. The truth was undeniable. With evidence mounting, police questioned Chen. He denied everything, but the digital trail was relentless. Investigators described the hidden shaft, watching his reaction. Chen broke. He confessed to the murder and the desperate cover-up. He'd learned about the shaft from maintenance years before. In panic, he saw it as his only escape. He described forcing open the panel, a detail only the killer knew. He thought the building would keep his secret forever, but persistence and technology caught up. The trial was swift. Chen was found guilty. The case was closed. The truth was unsealed. The silent apartment was finally empty. The case of Julian Croft is a chilling lesson. Buildings are more than walls. They have histories and hidden dangers. Forgotten spaces can become hiding places for crime. The case forced cities to update inspection protocols. Inspectors now search for sealed-off voids using new technology. Renovations must fully decommission old shafts. It's costly, but it makes buildings safer. The story is about more than a hidden murder. It's about community. Julian's isolation made him vulnerable. Automation hid his death. We must look out for each other, notice the silence, and ask questions. Walls can't speak. It's up to us to listen. The safest buildings are those filled with people who care. Secrets may hide in the walls, but vigilance brings them to light.